In the UK, Boris Johnson, the front-runner to become Britain's Prime Minister, is under increasing pressure to explain reports of a domestic row. According to local media, police said a visit to Johnson's home on Friday after his neighbour reported a loud altercation.
And Johnson's partner was, reportedly heard telling him to, quote, get off her and out of the house. The former Foreign Secretary has declined to comment on the incident, a silence that has not done him any favours. He's been criticised by his fellow party members for not explaining what happened.
In an interview with Sky News Today, his rival Jeremy Hunt said he's not interested in debating Mr. Johnson's private life, but called him a coward for turning down a chance to debate him live on television on his Brexit plans.
I'm going to be turning up at the Sky News studios tomorrow evening. I hope that Sky will have the debate. I hope there'll be an empty chair there for Boris if he doesn't turn up, because I think the public deserve to know how I will deal with the crisis that we face, but they also need to see that Boris is not prepared to answer those questions. But actually, I really hope he comes along.
And for more on this, we're speaking to Ollie Barrett in London. Ollie, you know, Boris Johnson refusing to address the issue so far. Do you think it will hurt his chances of becoming PM?
It certainly doesn't do him any favours. It's certainly not what Boris Johnson wanted to be talking about and what he wanted the attention to be focused on at the start still of the period in which he and Jeremy Hunt go up and down the country talking to the Conservative Party membership, trying to win their votes to become the next leader of the Conservative Party and therefore UK Prime Minister as well. The problem for Boris Johnson is that this story plays in, for some of his critics, to the concerns about his judgment and about his character. Now, his supporters would say that the police turned up at the apartment last week, found there was nothing worth further investigating, that everyone was safe and well and happy, and that the matter, from their perspective, is closed. But it also plays into that developing conversation about whether Boris Johnson generally, as part of this leadership contest, is trying to avoid scrutiny of his private life, but also scrutiny of his Brexit plans and his other policies that he would want to implement as British Prime Minister.
Ollie, Jeremy Hunt has said that he doesn't want to debate or get drawn into discussing Boris Johnson's private life, but this is something that he could perhaps capitalise on, couldn't it, for his own gain?
He's going to do so very carefully. What Jeremy Hunt is saying at the moment is that he doesn't want to discuss Boris Johnson's private life, but every time he is asked about Boris Johnson's private life, it is another moment in which it is indeed being discussed. Jeremy Hunt making it a conversation, as I say, about scrutiny of Boris Johnson more generally. Jeremy Hunt saying that everything should be on the table for a candidate to be asked about when they are running for the highest office in the land, and that is what many critics of Boris Johnson are saying at this point, is that if you want to be Prime Minister, you must expect scrutiny of every area of your life. Boris Johnson knows, though, that if he does answer this question or answer questions about what happened in the apartment last week with his girlfriend, then that opens him up to questions beyond that, about other areas of his private life. And up to now, he's always said his private life is off limits. He doesn't want to open up a Pandora's box here, so he will resist attempts for as long as possible to discuss all of this.
All right, many thanks for the update. Ollie Barrett speaking to us from London.